So my name is Rachel and I have not been here for a while. I decided today I would film a bit of a catch-up video because I don't think I've made a YouTube video in like a month or two and a lot has happened. So I decided to just sit down and film a catch-up video because it feels weird talking to a camera again. So I'm gonna like try and get used to it by just chatting shit, and then yeah, that'll be fine. It'll get me ready to film other videos. So I haven't filmed a video in a really long time, and the reason for that is that I haven't really been reading for a while. I have read, but I haven't like ferociously read, if you know what I mean. And it's not because I've been in a reading slump. I feel like it's really common where people disappear off their channels for a few months and then they come back and they're like, oh, I had this huge reading slump. And I haven't had a reading slump. I've been wanting to read ferociously all the time, but I haven't been doing because I've been doing a lot of writing. So I thought today I would just like catch you up on what I've been doing. So the first huge thing, and the reason that I haven't been reading is, yeah, because I've been writing. So last year I spent January to November writing like my first ever novel, my first ever like first draft of a novel. It took me 11 months to write it. Then February rolls around and halfway through February I start writing a new book. I'm not redrafting that one, I start writing something new. And I finished it on the last day of March. It took me a month and a half. So it took me 11 months last year to write a 70,000 word first draft. This year, it took me a month and a half to write a 73,000 word first draft. Like, what the fuck was I doing last year? I don't understand why I was wasting my time doing. I mean, I think basically I didn't actually know how to do it, and now I feel more comfortable like knowing how to structure something, how to write it, and actually I know what story structure is, and I properly structured this project that I was working on, whereas the other story I outlined without actually knowing how to outline. So it wasn't really the best thing to be working off of because I didn't really know what I was doing. So yeah, wrote a new draft, which I'm so happy with. Like, I really, really love it. I think it's a really good story and it is a lot more manageable. The first story I took on was too much. It was like the first in a series. It's a dystopian, it's post-apocalyptic, so you've got to get like really good world building and all these things. And my writing suffers from like white room syndrome, where I just like don't describe things because I can see them so clearly in my head that I just assume anyone reading it can see it clearly. And then they read it and they're like, where are your characters? Like, I don't understand where they are. What are they doing? That wasn't the best thing to start with. Whereas the story that I've just worked on is in a setting that I'm familiar with. It's not like a high pressure on the description kind of story. So I'm really, really happy with it. And it's a lot more commercial as well. So I feel quite good with moving forward with that and redrafting that one and leaving the other one until I can like be better at world building, because that one just needs a lot of world building help that I just don't have the skills for yet, I don't think. So that is the first thing that I've done. I wrote another first draft, which I'm more than happy with. So I finished it on the 31st of March. I had already decided I was doing Camp NaNoWriMo because I'd assumed that I wouldn't finish it in a month and a half. So then I was like, oh well, I have this other story that it was the one that I mentioned in December and I outlined and I did everything for, but I just didn't start it. And so I've started that one for Camp NaNoWriMo. I'm about 6,000 words into that one now and I'm only hoping to write 20,000 words on it. But it's very weird going like one day finishing a book, next day starting a book. That was not a good idea. So I've been sort of like dealing with that, which has been fun. So because of that, I wasn't reading. So I have read stuff in February and I did read stuff in March, but I didn't read very much. And so I am going to do a bit of a wrap up of those two together because in February I did actually read some good books. I just didn't film a wrap up. And then March I hardly read anything. Well, I did read 2 books, but they were both rereads of books that I've talked about a lot on my channel. So I feel like no one wants to hear me talk about them again. But yeah, I wasn't reading. It's the 9th of April today and I've been trying to get myself back into reading now that I'm like not as intensely in a story, which has been nice. So the first thing that I started getting back into was the Bookshop book by Campbell, because I thought a book, about people loving books and all that sort of stuff is going to be a great book for me to read when I've been like so starved of reading. So I've been reading this one. I'm about a third of the way through. I've basically gone back to waking up at 6, coming upstairs, reading for an hour before the kids wake up that I work with, and that's been working really, really well. I used to do that all the time. This is really good. I'm also reading Reasons to Stay Alive by Haig, which, I mean, I thought this was going to be a really happy book because Reasons to Stay Alive, but he's talking a lot about suffering with depression and when he was first diagnosed with depression, so it's a bit more sad than I was hoping for. But I think that's because in the next 10 pages, the next section starts, and I think that it's just the first bit. He's like introducing his relationship with depression before he talks about how to be happy again. So I'm enjoying this, but I'm kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to be this sad. So yeah, I'm reading this one. And the other book that I have just finished is I was listening to the audiobook of Almost Love by Louise O'Neill. Oh my god, I started it on Sunday and finished it on Monday. I read it within 24 hours, the audiobook, and it's so good. And the audiobook's so good because everyone speaks Irish, so you really feel like you're in that setting and environment. Like the accent of the narrator takes it like tenfold above on like you're feeling like you're in the novel. And it's fantastic. Like, it was so good. It was so, so good. Louise O'Neill is definitely becoming an author for me, which I don't have a lot of those. So yeah, she is fantastic. Almost Love is fantastic. Does that. What else am I doing? I'm moving back to England in like 2 weeks. It's the 9th today and I move back on the 24th. So like 15 days, which is crazy. I'm very, very excited to move home. I am excited to be around my books again. I'm excited to see my family. I'm excited to see my friends. I'm excited to see my dogs. Just everything. I'm just excited to be home again. It feels a little bit weird. So me and my, ex-girlfriend now, we broke up a few months ago, and I think part of me was excited because I was gonna go home because she'd already left Switzerland, so it was like I was excited to go and see her. But now that we're not together, I've met a lot of new people here, and so it feels weird now because I feel like, oh, I'm really sad that I won't get to know these people better before I move home. So it's like completely switched right as I'm leaving, which is very, very, very strange. Yeah, I'm excited to leave. I'm a little bit sad because I'm going to really miss the kids. And I think they're starting to realise that I'm leaving now, which is a bit sad. But yes, I feel like I'm just ready to be doing new things now. And I've been here a long time. And I feel like, especially because I've just wrote a first draft in a month and a half, I feel like Switzerland did what the goal was. Like my goal when I moved to Switzerland was that I wanted to take time to write. And if I left Switzerland without having written a first draft, then I had to give up on wanting to be a writer in my life and go and get a real job. That's what I told myself, which is terrible, and you shouldn't tell yourself things like that. However, I am leaving Switzerland with 2 completed first drafts, so kind of worked. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is something that I am just super excited for, and which just builds into all of that stuff and is just something I'm really excited about. In, I think, the summer, they haven't like properly said when it's being published yet, but some of my poetry is going to be published in an anthology in the summer. So it's kind of a 50th anniversary type of celebration of Stonewall happening. So I'm just assuming it's going to be published in the summer because that's when Pride is. But yeah, they are publishing 2 of my poems. This is the first time that I'm going to be like properly published, so I'm very, very, very happy about that. And yeah, just excited, and it's given me a new like lease of like, I just want to write all the time and I want to do everything, literally everything. I have too many writing projects at the moment because I've just got myself too excited about writing. But yes, that will be happening, so I'm very, very excited. When it does come out, I'm obviously going to buy like 1 million copies because I'm going to be so happy that I was published. So I'll probably show you a copy of it in a book haul. I'm very, very excited about that. So I would just sit down and film a bit of a catch up to get used to talking to a camera again, which I feel like I've done because I've sort of been talking a mile a minute and chatting absolute shit for a while. So that's good. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know down below how you've been doing. What have you been reading? How's your life going? How is everything? Just forgotten how to do this. I will see you in my next video. Bye!